So what's going on, Steve? How's your Tuesday?
All right. Yeah, thank you. Happy Tuesday. I am flying solo today. We'll not have Andy. He'll be back tomorrow. But nonetheless, I've got about maybe 40 minutes of stuff to talk to you about. We'll get started for the Trade of the Week webinar. And like Scott said, if you join late, you're not hearing me, but we'll be able to have this recorded for you so you can catch up later tonight or tomorrow at the earliest. So here we are. Trade Ideas is a publisher, and we are not a financial investment advisory. We're not in the business of financial investments advisories. We are software as a subscription firm, and a lot of traders that work here use the product and are on salary. We've got some opinions from time to time, but they should never ever be construed as financial advice. So we'll talk about a few things going forward here and how it relates. Just a reminder, it's a 17-year-old platform here, very rich in features. Depends on what method you want to explore. You know, somebody asked today in the earlier webinar, how can I use this? Well, the first question is how do you want to use it? You want to be a manic scalping day trader who's constantly playing, what's the name of that game when the music stops and you look for a chair, musical chairs. Yes, if you like to play that game, we can help you. If you like to slow things down and go to your normal job and then run scans at night and keep an eye on things as a swing trader slowing things down, we can help you. But there's many ways to approach it, like I said. So first step is to figure out what you want the product to do for you and how you want to use it, and we'll try and help you from there. We've got many ways of being accessible, primarily Barry's room. He made a funny announcement today. It wasn't funny, it was a great announcement. His room swelled up in the last couple of days, especially yesterday, as people are at home trying to figure out what to do with themselves. There's no sports on TV. Some people are like, well, let's see what the market's doing. So interesting dynamics. Some companies are benefiting. You know, Blue Apron is benefiting. Grubhub's benefiting. Amazon's going to benefit from this new paradigm we have here for the next few weeks. So it seems like there's certainly some interest in trade ideas as well, as people are twiddling their thumbs at home trying to figure out what to do with themselves. Well, the stock market is, I will say, been doing this a long time, 25 years, never seen anything quite like this. I've seen some crazy days, crazy few days, a crazy event, but never just 3 weeks of horrible drubbing like we've seen here. This is pretty unprecedented. So a lot to show you, a lot that the program can show you. And my point on the slide is to remind you we're here, we're available. Barry's room is open from bell to bell, Monday through Friday. We're doing the live webinars, noon Eastern, did one today, and we're still doing the afternoon webinars. So we're around, we're here a lot to try and help people get up to speed and shorten your learning curve with this product. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a new format. The TI University, we did a final recording on the most recent content. We basically evergreened those so people can watch those on their own time and come in and ask us questions in chat or email if they have any. And we've moved on to more live support, especially with Brokerage Plus and a lot of new tools and things coming. It just makes sense to have more availability for you guys. And so here we are, Monday through Friday, weekdays, 12 Eastern. We're there, and it's nice because it's just a simple bookmark. It's the live tradeIdeas.com channel. I'm sorry, it is the YouTube Trade Ideas channel /live. So easy place to come and find each time. So here we are, another week of the theme Trade of the Week, but the theme is man and machine combined. Human beings and machines are going to be working together going forward. Back in the day when stocks first started trading, they didn't have machines. They basically had guys writing on chalkboards as fast as humanly possible for the super wealthy, rich, elite stock traders. And that was their computer, watching guys just wipe away chalk and update chalk. But we don't have that anymore. We have incredible machines and technologies like Trade Ideas that helps us curate those ideas in real time and give us that curated set for us to move forward with and make our best decisions. So again, today I'm flying solo, but this is some ideas I would like to talk about. We'll start with the actual typical market recap, a few things in the AI to just kind of go back over. There was no trigger in the Trade of the Week this week, but I'll talk about the idea behind it and the genesis behind it. And the one that I didn't pick, and I'll tell you why I didn't pick it, but nonetheless, hindsight is genius. What I'd like to do for the remainder of the session is, all the charts out there pretty much look the same, and that is broken, oversold and broken. And some charts are bouncing at certain areas, some charts are closing stronger than other charts, but what I want to do is start from scratch and show you the process involved in saying, okay, trade ideas, got a whole new unique situation here. Let me just minimize this. This, as you guys have probably never seen, has never been so empty. All right, this was my go-to swing trading scan for a bull market, the A table. A table's got nothing for me. Jam down's got nothing for me. All of these scans that have been working, giving me ideas in this type of market environment, got nothing. So what I'd like to do is, when we get to that section, talk out loud about a scan, a top list I would like to find, and have trade ideas show me a curated list of all the stocks doing this, 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 and this, A, B, C, and D. We'll get to that. So just as an exercise to show you how to make something out of a concept out of thin air using trade ideas. So let's start with what we're looking at, market recap. Mentioned yesterday in Jamie's session, obviously that 10-period moving average made a lot of sense back there, but we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 days, almost 9 or 10 days removed from that bounce. We called it, remember we talked about bouncing into the pocket. Well, bouncing into the pocket proved to be the play. The market did exactly what we thought it might do. Dead cat bounces usually get held up by that declining moving average. Remember all those days when I was talking about the market, there was no bear case to be made. All the moving averages were perfectly above each other, 10 above the 20, above the 50. Well, now we're opposite. 10 below the 20 below the 50. They're all fanned out. So what we would expect, of course, is if we do get another dead cat bounce, probably going to be short-lived at least. It's not going to cut through like butter is what I'm trying to say. It's going to be short-lived in that the sellers are waiting in droves. Right about that X marks the spot for a possible bounce up into the pocket, and we'll see what happens. Ideally, that will be our next test, and the bulls would love to see a daily candle or two close above a declining moving average. That's going to be the first technical signal that we might be having some changing winds. But for now, it is just chaos. It's basically, of course, we mentioned in this type of market volatility environment, I'm doing the same thing as Jamie and Andy and Michael in our shared account. For those that don't know, we're having a fun little exercise trading a 4-person account, which is really interesting because you've got 4 different personalities that are pros and they're all doing their own thing. And it's pretty, let's just say, I bet you in a month or so, Michael might have some interesting numbers for people. But when you've got 4 people, banging away on an account, you tend to kind of check and balance each other, I would say. But right now, it's all of us are trading 1/4 size, maybe 1/3 normal size, because these moves are just incredible. And maybe just trying to get a day or a day and a half out of it at the most. But the point is, it's basically take something home overnight and you're getting up in the middle of the night, drinking some water and creeping over to the desk like I do and logging into the futures at 2 in the morning and seeing what's going on. And hopefully you can go back to sleep. So liquidate to the point of sleeping is always good. But the point is, it doesn't matter what the markets look like when they close. The overnight risk is just so much in play right now. So there's really not much semblance or much organization here to talk about other than, yes, we're oversold. Yes, we've had an unbelievable amount of damage. And if we look back here, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit. This line right there is kind of a respective hiccup that we had back in December 18. And as you can see, we got pretty darn close to that line again today. We did the old Kansas City shuffle where we took out yesterday's lows by a nickel and then bounced right back up. After hours, we're kind of wallowing again. But the NASDAQ has been holding up the best. And the reason I say that is in respect to the 200-day moving average, it's well below it. But I think it's much better than the S&P. If we go back to the Qs, that respective December low that we looked at back here, if I draw that line again, the Qs are nowhere near where we saw the S&Ps respectively. The S&Ps were down here. So that's kind of interesting. This is going to become kind of interesting focal point for me going forward. We'll see how a lot of stocks react to that. but we'll come back at the end of the session when we start doing some scans. Lastly, the IWM is just doing what it has always done. There's its respective 2018 December low. If it would let me draw a line here without freezing up on me. Let's try that again. No, it's going to freeze up on me. But the point being is, look at that incredible downward momentum. Look at how far removed we are from the 10-period moving average in today's closing price. A lot of space in there. This space could be reclaimed very quickly. We'll see. I actually did buy a little TNA today. TNA is the, you can see the buy tag down there, is the ETF for the Russell 2000 inverse. So it doubles. If the Russell 2000 IWM goes up 5% on the day, TNA will go up 10%, like it almost did today. So, you know, there's the market recap. It's just a mess out there. You're advised to, if you don't want to take stuff home overnight, then turns everybody into a day trader. Otherwise, we're just going to wait until we can get these 10-period moving averages to flatten out and get some closing daily candles above it. I don't know how long that's going to take. It's going to be a matter of days or even a week or two, but let's see what happens. And so that's where we are. There is no historical reference point for what we're doing right now. Aside from the technicals, I think the market would love to hear a reality to the $1 trillion stimulus package Washington's trying to come up with to put some money in everybody's pockets. Because as we all know, whether it's ourselves or our friends or our families, people are really stressed out and anxious out there right now. Uncertainty is no fun for anybody, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel at the moment. So putting a few grand in the pocket of head of households, I think would do a wonderful job in easing some of the anxiety and fear out there. So if you hear that tomorrow, that there's a vote or there's progress on that, that could be helping the market. But I don't want to get too bogged down on all that stuff. Typically, I'll have Andy on here to go through some of the AI trades, and I'll do that. But all I really like to ever do is just go through them one by one and figure out where was the reason to get out. So let's look at the winning one on NEO. I'm just going to start with NEO because that's all I really focus on today. It looks like we had some winners up in AI, Holly AI. We'll take a look at that in a second. But for those that are new, and if you don't know how to program like a scan, or you don't know what the hell to look for or what stock you want to play, but you want to get involved, you want to start playing, you know, the AI generates some interesting ideas. This one would have been a short this morning. Cuck, what a great name. CUK, and there is our short established right here in the blue line. Our stop was right there, never even close. Nice big push to the downside, but here is where it gets interesting. This is my 10-period moving average, and that is the candle right there that would have gotten me out of this trade, which would have been a decent trade. So the idea is to try and ride these things as long as you possibly can, but just using the 10-period moving average as your guide. Let's look at the next one today. This one was taken out by Holly, by the AI as a profit save. Let's see, it was a long at that point, and it went up, and then it went down, and it went green and red a few times, and the AI said, forget it. That's just going to be basically a flat trade. Called it a profit save, but here was our confirmation. Pretty much that candle breaking the moving average. This would have been a beautiful setup as the moving average was coming up to meet that price. I've seen a million times really good setups explode right off that level. But when we look left sometimes in the bigger picture, a day and a half is all we can really get. And Blue Apron had a pretty good move yesterday, big giant gap up, and then midday the profit taking started. And by the way, I'll just get ahead of myself. This was the stock I was thinking about calling for trade of the week, but you know, it was nothing but a hunch. Looking at this chart like that, you'd say, what are you crazy, Steve? I'd say, yeah, but I got this notion, I got this idea that everybody's going to be quarantined and they're not going to trust Grub drivers as much as they're going to trust Amazon delivering them, you know, frozen meals ready to go and cook at home. That's just a concept. I don't trade on concepts. I don't really want to make calls on concepts, but that concept worked. So I tried to stick with the trade of the week that made sense technically, but this was on the short list. In hindsight, it would have been kind of fun to have called it, but if it didn't work, it would have been hard to back up. So back to the AI, another breakdown short. It never really went anywhere. And then we can see middle of the day here, it actually got stopped out. It broke down and came back and got stopped out, but that was where the momentum was lost, and it just didn't do much for the rest of the day. I think real quick, I do want to take a look at the Holly Grail because there was a few good trades in there. Let's see how our moving average risk management play would have worked then. Well, this one's a little goofy, but nice push higher basically off that, and then a reversal, and then it closed. Look at that, it's been an hour and a half below that momentum line. I would have been out certainly on that first candle, but came back and closed pretty strong. Can't blame people for wanting to get out of that one and when it broke the momentum line. Here's another short sell. Okay, there's the downward push, and look at that, right as it broke that, we had an hour or so wallowing above, and then wouldn't you know it, it went back to lows again. So this little method here is kind of showing me up. It's not really working the way it normally does, but I'll tell you again, we are not in normal market environment right now. All right, this should be another one that was short and it didn't work. And look at this, in this particular lower, but didn't. So I probably would have been getting out even before that AI stop on that one. And the last couple here, let's just see what we got. This was also a long, and it never really got out of its way. Yeah, tried to adhere to the moving averages, but basically closed below the moving averages right there, and never really could do much. And another example of just continuation. What a goofy day. In here, this was a stop out. It was a long. It got stopped out and went back to high. So really, really tricky across the board, without a doubt, for sure. In the AI. And in the market in general. So the trade of the week was Zuo, and I mentioned in the email, everything pretty much looked the same out there. If we go back 2 days, there it was. And this is kind of what I'm going to want to scan for in a little bit with a few more ideas behind it. But some nice stocks that have been falling, and then boom, put a big long range in and bounced with a nice trade up to the high end of the range. But again, it was almost take your pick, like I said. And this was a particular stock that had a decent decent bounce. Let me see if there's anything else I noticed on the weekly. No, that was pretty much it. That's was 52-week low, all-time low, what have you. But the idea was, and we even said in the email, the profit target is going to be very short-lived. The profit target is to maybe hold for a few days, and wherever it touches the declining 10-period moving average, that is going to be our target. Well, we've had 2 days now, yesterday and today, as this declining 10-period moving average comes down even lower. So if this thing does trigger at the 801 level, which is very close and might trigger tomorrow, maybe it becomes a day trade. Maybe it becomes just a simple day or two trade, but we don't really have much more meat on the bone because we are just trying to really play a dead cat bounce here in that respect for that particular one. But, it was really hard to try and find something this week because charts are broken and every single chart seemed to look the same. It's just a matter of which ones were going to stop bleeding and going down and which ones might dig in. So let's see if we can, trade of the week, no trigger, and Zuo it might trigger. And if it does, it might just be a day or a day and a half at the most. We'll see. So now that all the scans are broken, and as I showed you, my go-to scans here are empty. There's only a couple things here in the, this is EVBG, software publishers, huh? I just wonder if this is a play on the virus. Let's just see what the similars are. Interesting. So that one is holding up strong and INST, but other than that, it doesn't even look like a playable chart. It looks like an acquisition. So what I want to do is, for the remaining 15 minutes or so here, just demonstrate how can we pull a concept out of the air and try and make a scan to look for it. Again, my ideal initial idea is to look for something that looks just like Zuo did on Friday. And so some of the points we're going to be looking at here is down percentage. Well, what's it down in the last 20 days? I think we'll use a change in 20 days. We'll put a pretty hefty percentage value in there for sure. Today's range, I want to look at candles that have a very long range. And what Trade Ideas does is it calculates the range of today's candle versus all the other ranges in the same stock and puts a percentile on it. 100% would be the high end of a range, but there's nothing that says we can't go above 100%. So we're going to look for some 100+% long candles. And then in those long candles, we're going to want to make sure that the price is at or near the top, the 98th percentile of that candle, which if that all comes and falls into place, it's going to give us candles that kind of look like that. the Zuo candle that gave us that little bottoming tail possibly last week. And then I anticipate if I was to just do those three things, I'd still have probably 500 returns. And I don't want that. So I'm going to add a qualifier filter. I would love to see some stocks that are doing this right at their 200-day moving average. That would be pretty good. And it might be a hard order to find because I don't see a lot of stocks out there that are holding above their 200-day. I did see Apple. How did Apple close today? It was trying. Look at that. That's what we want to see. So this is interesting. You know, Apple might be the very first one we mark up. And I'm going to use that 200-day moving average as a qualifier. Okay, so let's get started. Let's build a scan. This is not an alert. It's not going to come out and tell me something just did something. It's going to give me a curated list of ideas. So it's a top list window. And we'll start with just the basics. We'll do averaged volume of, let's at least get us something that is decent. Let's do, we'll start with 400,000 shares average daily. And the price of this, thought we had a price, and there we go. We'll do price 500. We'll leave that open. It can be as high as we want, $5 minimum. All right, so first thing, we have talked about change in 20-day. Let's just type in 20-day, and there's our 20-day range. Change in 20 days, that's what we want, change in 20 days. Add that filter. Let's say we need things to be down at least 20%, 25%. Let's check our work. The price was down at least 25% from 20 days ago. Okay, that's a pretty good starting point. A lot of stuff going to be in there. Next data point is position. Let's do today's range. So again, we're talking on today's candle. The size of today's candle. It's not going to be a small compressed candle. It's going to be a wide, long candle. Today's range in percent. Add filter. And we're going to start pretty aggressive. We're going to say 130% of normal. So it's going to give us a long candle. And then we're going to say, what's the position in today's range? Where's the price in that long candle? Position in range. This is our today, position in range today. Let's start at 95%. We could go higher, 96, 97, but we're going to find things that are no less than 95% above that long range low. All right, so there is that. And just for fun, let's see what that gives us before we add that 200-day qualifier. A lot of stuff, but maybe not as much as I thought. Let's just see. Oh, look at that. Maybe now they keep coming in. They just keep coming in. And just so you know, when you look at these top lists, set record count, I've got it set to 100, so there's at least 100 in there. More than I want, and I kind of figured that would be the case, but now we're going to add the big qualifier. Where is it in relation to the 200-day moving average? Change from 200-day moving average, that's our target right there. Let's add that filter, and here's what we're going to do. We are going to say, you know, in a perfect world, I'd put a 0 in there that says the price is above the 200-day moving average. So let's just start there. Price is above the 200-day moving average by 0.01%. Price is at least, oh, we've got 1%. I need to put point. The price is at least 0.01% above, there we go, the 200-day moving average. And I think I'm just going to leave it at that. There's probably no point in putting a cap in there, because I'll take anything above the 200-day as long as the candles look like that. Let's do a little cleanup work here. Bounce at the 200 question mark is going to be the name of this scan. And we're going to scan for everything, all symbols. All right, so I'm going to hit OK. Let's see if this shrinks up this list a little bit. Boy, did it. Easy PM, huh? Okay, so that's telling me, look at that, easy PM, nice big candle today above the 200-day. So there's something in here. Wow, it was just that one change above the 200-day, huh? So let's do this. Let's give ourselves a little wiggle room. Let's see if we can open up the parameters a little bit here. I'm really surprised it only gave us one, quite honestly. We could do position and range. We can open that up to maybe 90. Let's bring our candle down a little bit to maybe 120%. And we'll go ahead and accept anything. what does this say? The price is at least above the 200. The price is no more than 1% below. So we're going to try and find things that are no more than 1% below that 200-day, because oh yeah, we'll definitely, that's the plan, is to share this scan, is to work it out together, friend, work it out together, understand it, how we got there, and then maybe try and build a few price alerts off of that. Let's see if we get, oh, we only got one more item. Wow, look at that. Now, why is Apple not in there? Probably because the range, oh, I'll tell you why Apple's not in there, everybody, because look at where the percentage, the position and range is not quite as high as we want. Let's open up that position and range just a little bit more. Let's go to 90, let's go to 80. Apple still won't show up, but we still might get some things that didn't close at the high other day, but are close enough. Why is that one doesn't have a 200-day? Okay, so that one bounced, closed above its 200-day. NVIDIA, there's a name of interest. Oh, look at that. I think we just found something there. NVIDIA is really holding on strong. Make one more little adjustment here. I think I'm going to bring that average daily range down to the 100 mark and see if we can bring in some more people. Only one more. Well, it just goes to show you, we're not asking a lot here. We're just trying to get stocks that are at least above their 200-day moving average and had a pretty good candle range today and closed at or near highs. I'm really surprised we're only getting 5, and that kind of bums me out. It makes me realize that this market is much more beat up than I thought it would be. I thought we'd be able to find at least a few candidates in here. But nonetheless, let's look at these, and I think these are all pretty decent candidates myself. We're going to go ahead and mark these up. So we got a couple things to share. We're going to share the actual scan itself. I'm going to delete all these price alerts except for Apple because I like that one discretionary. And then we'll share the price alerts as well. So Ring, I like this. Is this that home? No, I thought that was Amazon that bought them. The front door Ring, is that them? Anyway, I like the chart. Let's put a price alert right above today's high. We'll add this to our mix tomorrow. APTO, something dropped off up here. Okay. APTO, that one's kind of wishy-washy down there. It is above its 200-day though. I like that, so we're going to pop another one in here. Easy PM. I'm going to hold off on that one because it looks like that moving average is coming right down there to meet it, getting pretty close. And then China, this one looks pretty good. I'll put an alert above there. And I know what we just missed. NVIDIA was looking really good, and for some reason, NVIDIA dropped off. What happened to NVIDIA? Did it get like a down tick after market? That little down tick right there after market might have done something to it. Oops, let me try this. Okay, there's NVIDIA. All right, APTO, that one. Sina, did we do this one? We did that one. And then what's this one? Oh, wow. Hey, look at this one. Unisys Computer Services, 2 big, strong, solid days. I hate to chase green bars, but boy, this one did closed right at it. So I'm not gonna say we're gonna look for a 3rd day of continuation, but that one was really interesting. A great example of how they can necessarily bounce right back up there. Comment here, yeah, it says difficult to find too many 200-day recaptures just yet. Exactly, you know, we might just be a bit too soon on this one, friend. Let's see what tomorrow, perhaps, if they can get the stimulus package approved and the COVID cases starting to get stabilized and get that curve flattening, this might become an interesting scan going forward. So I don't really want to put too many ideas out there. It's really just play it safe, cash, nibble here and there, jump in, jump out, but there's no reason to have a whole portfolio working right now. So let me just do 2 things here before I bring Scott back in, is save and share this scan for those that might want to keep an eye on the early birds who are going to come back and reclaim that 200-day moving average quickly with a nice reversal candle. We'll call it, what do we call this? We call this the 200 bounce scan. All right, that is now in the chat window. Not really sure what you mean by I want to show the audience the magic of the low lubricant pullback version. I'm not really sure what you meant on that one. And then, as promised, the price alerts we just created. We've got, looks like 4 of them, and that's it. So we'll go ahead and share those 4. Come on. Your low stocks that are bouncing. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about there. Let's wait for my system to unfreeze here so I can share that out. Let's try again. Let's try that again. Share. Copy all. Okay, I didn't. Share price alert. Copy all. Okay, I guess I'm just tripping out. There is the link in the chat window now for the price alerts that were just set. You know, it's funny. I think I might have deleted that from my scan, but let's take a look. The one that a friend is asking about was called the trend change lubricant. Basically, stocks that were beat up pretty bad, and they're looking for a possible move higher. Let's see. There's only a few in there. These are interesting. Mining company. WVE. I never heard of that one, but popping out of the move today. This one could be interesting for some follow through tomorrow. I don't know what this is, WVE. Yeah, low stocks that might be bouncing. That's all I've got for that. So, all right, if anybody has any questions, I'll take a question or two for a couple minutes, but that's about it for today. My knee is barking, wants to go lay down and see what's going on outside, maybe get some fresh air. I've been in quarantine for almost 4 weeks now after knee surgery. Got a good head start on you guys. All right, so that looks like that's it for today. So let me go ahead and bring Scott in, and thank you all for your attention, and we'll see you next time. And take it easy out there. No reason to be a hero. Be nimble. Small size can work a long way in this volatility until things do shape up. But yeah, thanks. Good luck to you, Christopher. Hang in there, buddy. Take care, and we'll bring in Scott.
And the free ebook. It's also got some layout cloud links that you can add to your layouts. So go to trade-ideas.com/earnings. It's got some great advice. There's another earnings season coming up soon, so find out what Dave Mabe does. We've also got a podcast that we release intermittently. We've got a couple episodes out already this year that are pretty good interviews, so do tune into those. Just search for Trade Ideas Podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. Add us as a subscription, and you can check out the back issues. And once you've subscribed, you'll get the next one automatically downloaded to your app. Springtime is a code that saves you 15% off the first month or year of Trade Ideas in March. Those of you that are on standard and want to do an upgrade can also use the same code to do so. Take advantage of that while it lasts. Steve is on Twitter. His Twitter handle is TodayTrader. Also follow Trade Ideas, and if you follow those, you'll find some of our other ones. Facebook.com/TradeIdeasPro is the Facebook handle. So if you like our page, you'll see what we post, and you'll be able to share that with stuff with your friends. info@TradeIdeas.com is the support email. Send any of your questions there. It goes into our help desk software, so the email won't get lost. It'll get routed to the appropriate team member to help you out. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll have the recording up later on tonight or tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye, Steve.
All right.